Hey peeps, we are back. We are talking The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 16, Episode 10. Hey you guys, before we get into the video, can I ask you to please hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share this video? All of those things are free, and it would mean the world to me if you could help me grow my channel by, at the very least, hitting the thumbs up. Now on to the show.
You took my Chanel lip liner?
Oh, well, of course I did. I take all your Amazon boxes.
What the heck?
So let me just say, Jen might be a little bit boring, but her daughter is absolutely awesome. This little girl is so cute to me, and I enjoy having scenes with her. I think that we should definitely have more on the show. She is super cute. Also see Heather having a family dinner night with her kids, you know, her twins. They are going off to college soon. They are doing the whole college tour. And that is something that is a real amazing time, not only for the children, but for the parents as well. Because as parents, we go through so many emotions. We are so happy and proud of our kids and excited for them to see what the future holds. But at the same time, it's a scary time for us because it's the first time that they're going out into the world by themselves. We did see that Max and Kat had a little bit of a tiff. You know, Max was teasing her a little bit at the table regarding her food. You know, there is a 3 or 4 year age difference between the two of them. And I'm sure that as they get older, they will grow closer. Siblings do argue, fuss and fight a little bit, disagree, especially when there's a little bit of an age gap. When I was a kid, me and my sisters, we fought like cats and dogs. But now that we're adults, we are each other's best friends. And I'm hoping the same thing will happen for Max and Kat. Later in the episode, we see Heather and her daughter Kat having a discussion.
I also don't want you to not be yourself and not be confident in who you are and who you love and all of that. So if you want to keep your big flag up, keep your big flag up. What do you care what one person says?
I don't know.
Everyone else can go F themselves as far as I'm concerned.
No, I can tell you this. Heather Dubrow has not always been one of my favorite housewives. I think that she's a little pretentious, and I don't like how she talks about money all the time, and she kind of throws money up in these ladies' faces. But what I can tell you is I do love the relationship that she has with her children. Heather's interactions with her kids, in my opinion, it comes across as extremely genuine. She's thoughtful when it comes to her children. And her kids just come off as very well-adjusted children. They show love. They don't seem anywhere near as preppy and uppity as she does. They seem a lot more down to earth. I'm telling you, the moment with her and her daughter talking, I really started to cry. I really teared up. I think that it was a very valuable moment for her and her daughter, but for also other children who are a part of the LGBTQ plus community. There is so much that is thrown at these children. I mean, there's so much thrown at all of our children, even if they're not a part of the LGBTQ plus, you know? And I think that every child needs to be able to be their authentic self. They need to be able to express who they are and love who they are without harm, without being bullied. And I really appreciate that Heather is a parent who will support her children's journey and lets them know that she is a safe place. They can speak to her about anything and everything, and they are still loved. Because not all children who are a part of this community get that same love and support. I don't know, I just thought it was really sweet to see her daughter feel safe to be as transparent and open as she wanted to be, or as she needed to be, and Heather to be there so supportive. So I'm wishing Kat, Heather, Max, and all the rest of the Dubrow family the very best. I don't think that any of their kids should have to be judged regarding their sexuality. I don't think anybody should. So then we see Emily go out for Manny's Petties with Noella, and I thought it was a little odd because Noella has been saying up until this day that she has no credit cards and no money, and that the only reason why she's been able to support herself is by using the credit card that is attached to the Amazon account. And I said to myself, well, how is she paying for all these outings? Or is the show paying for these outings? I have no idea. That is not my business. Why am I in this woman's purse? I'm just saying.
I'm a typical Gemini. I'm just one extreme to the next. And I've realized that I'm kind of the psycho of the relationship.
Now listen, I have to agree upon that. Psycho. You know, I'm just saying. I didn't say it, peeps. She said it. I'm allowed to agree. Don't judge me. The woman is a bit of a mess.
Mediation's on Saturday. I want to do separate entrances, separate exits.
You think he's going to come to the mediation?
A lot of the conversation revolves around herself and her divorce.
I feel like that night at dinner, you started it with Heather. Maybe when it gets to the fight, maybe you have to recognize that maybe you become unreasonable.
You know what? I don't think that James is doing the mediation. I really don't. And you know, I fell right down the middle with this conversation with Emily because yes, she does talk about this divorce. Before the divorce came up, the only thing we knew was that she was living this luxurious lifestyle and sweet James is really sweet. You know, that's what we found out. Now all we know is they're getting a divorce and she gave him a stack of vaginas. That's all we know. And that's all she talks about. I understand that that's what she's going to talk about because this is something that is hurting her, affecting her, and emotionally stressing her out, and most likely the rest of her family. So I can understand her talking about it a lot. She needs to process and get these things out here. But I also agree with Emily when she says, you know, we all have things going on in our lives. We all have children. We all have husbands. We all have projects. And she doesn't ask them about what's happening, what's going on in their lives. And she doesn't tell them anything else about her life or her children except for what we found out the first couple of episodes. You know, personally, I would like to know, how's her little boy doing? How's her daughter doing? I know that she was just now learning that her son was diagnosed with autism. How's he doing? I mean, he's an adorable little boy, and I'd like an update on him. I'm just saying, I just think that in friendships, you have to care about them as well as yourself. If you're well enough to come out and about and have dinner and drinks and vacation and, you know, mani-pedis, you're doing good enough to talk to me about my kids and my husband. I don't know, peeps. I could be wrong. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Get down in the comments and let me know what you think. Emily was also kind of telling her how she should deal with conversations with the rest of the group. And it seems to me that Emily and Gina, every episode, they speak to Noella as if she's their child to explain to her how she should behave. Listen, you guys are not her mother. Her behavior is an absolute wreck. It's deplorable from time to time, but you cannot tell a grown woman how she's supposed to behave. Either you allow her to act a fool like she does and dig her way out of this hole that she is digging, or stop inviting her to events. I don't want to be friends with somebody that every time we have a social event, at the end of it, I'm sitting there with them drunk off their butt, explaining to them that this behavior is not acceptable. Just stop inviting her to places. I'm not going to sit around and tell a grown woman how to behave. So then you see all the ladies getting ready to go to Shannon's house for a little lunch that she was throwing. And did anybody catch that when Heather was getting Shannon's present together, she said, well, somebody works at the place and we'll know if she returns it. And I thought, well, what kind of mess is that? Why would she return it? And why would you be interested in knowing if she returned it? I mean, if you're giving her the gift, just give it to her and go on about your business.
Ryan packed his bags and left last night.
Ryan left the house. He went and he walked up the hill. He just walked out and said, I'm not doing this anymore. And then he came back and he like screamed at me the next day and walked out again.
It's not even hurt. It's like humiliation.
I think it's time. No!
I feel bad for Jen. I really do. But at the same time, to me, it seems that we're missing something. I mean, relationships are 50-50. I can see what a jerk, in my opinion, that Ryan is. But what exactly is she doing? You know what I mean? There's three sides to every story. His side, her side, and what's really happening. I don't know. It seems to me the only times that we really see Jen talking to Ryan or trying to broach a conversation with Ryan, she's had a couple of drinks. And then, we see in the previews for next week, she is drunk off of her butt, acting extremely inappropriate with her husband at a dinner with a whole bunch of other couples. It just seemed a little odd to me. And I'm wondering, is she drinking too much? Current day, she says that they are back together. But while she's in the car talking to Heather, she says they need a divorce. And I would have to say, given to just what we've seen on the show, I would agree. Honey, it's time for a divorce. You and him just don't seem to be compatible anymore. He really comes off as not being interested. He does not want to be bothered with you. He comes off as being very interested in being with the children, relaxing at the house with his shirt off, and petting that dog. He is always hugging and kissing that dog. We have seen him hug and kiss that dog more than we have seen him hug and kiss her or those kids. He is not interested. I think it's time to, contact a divorce attorney, in my opinion. But I don't know these people. I don't know what's going on in their house. We're going to have to see how it plays out. She mentions that Ryan is a little bit dramatic. I don't think that that's a shock to any of us. I mean, anytime the man changes his name from Ryan to Ryan or whatever that is, walking around with his shirt off constantly, extremely petting and hugging and kissing on that dog, he is dramatic. We didn't need you to update us to that, period. I have noticed that throughout the season, Jen has been doing a lot of talking to Heather, getting advice from Heather, and then finding out on Watch What Happens Live that Heather and Terry have a new relationship show that's premiering soon. I thought, is this something that Heather has directed and produced for the show? Oh, Jen and her husband are going through something. Make sure that you set up filming with me and Jen so that I can give her relationship advice that will help promote me and Terry's new show. I don't know. Am I doing too much? Am I reading too much into Heather and Terry? I don't know. It just seems to be, it's a little odd.
Ryan packed his bags and left last night.
What? Shane and I, when we hit 10 and 11 years together, that was our lowest of lows.
Only one person showing up. The other one can't carry that.
Was there a prenup? I literally was served with divorce papers where I had no expectation that we were even in that realm of thought.
I know.
Not even 6 weeks ago.
I know, you said that many times.
To finish what I'm saying.
I just asked a question. I'm sorry, Noella. I'm not allowed to ask questions.
Don't raise your voice at me. Apparently, I'm not allowed to talk about my divorce. I'm not allowed
It's all you talk about. What are you talking about?
The pain that Jen's going through, that was amazing. It was really lovely to see.
I don't know, it's something about Jen and Ryan's relationship. It's extremely cringeworthy. It just doesn't look as if there's any love. There's not any quality communication. I don't know. Maybe they could try to work it out, but I think if they are going to work it out, it does require better communication skills, better scheduling when it comes to work and the children, and they need to probably sit down with a therapist, and I'm not talking about Tina. And I'm on the fence again when it comes to Noella and Emily here. Do I think that Emily was a little heavy-handed? Yes. Do I think the way she handled the situation was absolutely wrong? Yes. Do I understand where she's coming from? Yes. I didn't like that Emily got so upset with Noella for talking about her divorce, because as soon as Jen mentioned that her and Ryan were having problems, the first thing Emily did was bring up her and Shane. And I said, well, why can you talk about you and Shane, and Shannon's allowed to talk about her and David, but Noella can't talk about her divorce? It was really weird to me. But at the same time, I understand where Emily is coming from, because Noella constantly talks about this divorce. And right now, it's Jen's turn to talk about something that's happening to her. And just because her husband walked out doesn't mean that he is somewhere secretly meeting with a divorce attorney and is about to send her divorce papers from Puerto Rico. I think that Noella jumped the gun a little bit. I also think that I heard Noella say something about her being glad about Jen, something she was saying to Gina, and I hope that I got that wrong, but she seemed to be a little excited. You know, I got that misery love company feel. I just think that Emily decided to jump down her throat because she was looking for a moment. I mean, she's stirring the pot 100 times more than normal. You know, the pulling out Jersey Mike's, then the subway, you know, it's a lot happening. The coming out shopping with 2 liter of ginger ale. She's really trying to hold on to her orange, and I get it, but don't let it be at Noella's expense. Do I think that Noella is selfish, spoiled, obnoxious, and doing way too much? Absolutely. But Emily's behavior was not appropriate either. And she was all upset about Noella not answering her question. Well, she was right in the middle of speaking when you interrupted her. And Emily does that to Noella quite a bit. If you watch these last few episodes, Noella will be in full conversation and Emily will jump in without even saying, excuse me. You teach your children to do better than that. And maybe Emily's jealous that Noella actually has a storyline. I have no idea. I'm 50-50. I understand where Emily's coming from. I understand where Noella is coming from, but I don't appreciate Emily's delivery. I just thought it was doing too much. Noella is an exhausting person, and I would be tired of hearing it too. Yeah, so anyway, I did agree with Emily because Jen needed her girls. She needed a moment to talk and express how she was feeling, what she was going through. And this just really wasn't the time to rehatch Noella's divorce to Sweet James. It just really wasn't. Honey, now listen, I love me some Shannon Beador. I don't know what has happened to me. I went from please fire Shannon Storms Beador to I love me some Shannon Storms Beador. I love that her and Heather are having a moment, that they are getting along, even if it is over the editables. I just like them. I like them together. And it's much better than Heather acting as if she's a part of the mob harassing Shannon.
Did you notice the look on Shannon's face was like visibly irritated? That like Heather was like being complimentary to me.
He cannot handle it.
It should be a fragrance. Jealousy. It's all bullshit. It's all Shannon.
Now, honey, listen. I guess Gina is the new Whitney Rose, okay? She is the new Wild Beauty Rose or Wild Rose Beauty. See, Whitney, you got to do better with your marketing, honey. I don't know the name of your business. Personally, who cares? There's so many housewives with skincare lines. Whitney Mona has a skincare line. Shannon has a skincare line. And I believe Dr. Jackie from Married to Medicine has a skincare line. Heather Dubrow has a skincare line, her and Terry. I mean, it's serious. Who cares? Good luck to you, Gina, and your skincare line. However, this whole Shannon is jealous of you. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Do I think that Shannon may be a little envious of some of the places that Gina has been able to go with Heather because Shannon wanted to go also? Maybe a little tiny bit. But as far as Gina saying that Shannon is jealous of her, no ma'am. No ma'am. I don't think so. And Emily can stuff it because it was a couple seasons ago when Gina was getting along with Shannon, Vicky, and Tamra. She was the fourth amiga, and Emily was devastated. Oh, she couldn't stand it. She couldn't take it. No, ma'am. Shannon is not jealous of
the fish and chips.
You're not happy? Bring on the fried. Bring on the cocktail.
Listen, I agree with Shannon here. I have been there, not through a divorce, but through multiple breakups. And when I'm going through a breakup, I want everything fried. I also would like to have a couple drinks and, a whole bag of Oreos, for myself. I'm not sharing. Are you kidding me? Anyway, don't judge me, okay? When your feelings are hurt, nothing makes you feel better than, a whole container of Oreos and a half a gallon of milk. Anyway, don't judge me, please. I am with Team Shannon on that.
Do you get jealous
of Gina's relationship with Heather? No. Heather was talking about her skincare line, that she thought that you got really jealous.
You know what? That's an asshole comment to make.
And here it is, Emily trying to have another moment. Oh, wow. Let her get a couple moments in one episode. I thought that it was extremely inappropriate for her to tell Gina's business to Shannon. Gina told you how she felt. She didn't tell you to go back and bring it up to Shannon. I just personally think that this is Emily and Gina's way of getting a storyline. We are going to use that Shannon is jealous of Gina as a storyline. Emily has decided that she's going to be the troublemaker, the pot stirrer. She's going to be the bone collector this season. You know, she told Noella that Heather didn't want her on the trip. Then she told Shannon that Gina thinks she's jealous of her. Then she went to Heather's party on the first episode and told Nicole that she knew all about her suing Terry. This is Emily's storyline this season. I don't know, the way she has been trying to cause trouble between Gina and Shannon, Heather and Shannon, maybe it's Emily that's jealous. I'm just saying. Anyway, peeps, this episode wasn't really giving much. Get down in the comments and let me know what you think. And until next time, bye.